Let's jump into the Monday night game. We have 3 minutes left. The Baltimore Ravens, they will travel down to the Bayou to take on the New Orleans Saints. This is an interesting matchup. You have Baltimore coming in at 5-3. They've had a somewhat of a solid season. They've won some pretty decent games this year, but they've also been known to blowing leads in the fourth quarter. That's another discussion you could have. And then the Saints on the other side, they're coming in at 3-5, kind of a disappointing record considering the talent that they have, both offensively and defensively. And now with Michael Thomas gone for the year, there's more pressure on guys like Alvin Kamara and Chris Olave, and they've had some changes in QB. They had Jameis Winston start the year, but now I think it's Andy Dalton. I think it's Andy Dalton starting, right? Tonight?
Yep, of course.
So
Andy Dalton, the red rifle.
yeah, you would think that Dalton is kind of past his prime days, but you know what? They've shown the Saints in the last few weeks that they can put up points. They've actually put up a lot of points in their games, and they haven't won all of them, but they have shown that they can keep up with other teams. And on the flip side, you have Baltimore's Lamar Jackson, who we know what he can do with his legs, and he's been pretty good this year, just having another solid year. I was going to ask you, Jimmy, like, who do you like? Because I think this is a game that Baltimore should win, and I'm going to pick Baltimore to win just because I think they're the better team. But the Saints have shown that they can put up points, and considering the Ravens' defense this year hasn't been typical Ravens defense, they can show maybe they can put up points again.
Yeah, so Jeffrey, the one thing that I'm focused on for both these teams is injuries because we know Mark Andrews is not playing. We know Gus Edwards is hurt for the Ravens. And then we don't, Marcus Peters is a little banged up. Malik Harrison's a little banged up. These are guys who play for them on defense. And that stinks because injuries are something you got to deal with. And in my opinion, I think that the Saints injuries are a little less worse. Like obviously they don't have Marshawn Lattimore, and that's a brutal loss for them. But I like the way the rest of their team's playing, especially on offense. I mean, they have kind of been putting up some decent points lately. I mean, the Arizona game, I know Andy Dalton's a train wreck with the interceptions, but they still put up points besides that. Last week, too, I thought was their most complete game of the season. They looked pretty good in that one. Really, I just don't know what else to say besides the injuries. I think it's just going to come down to who sticks to their game plan and really is able to limit themselves on the mistakes because whoever turns the ball over more is going to put themselves in such a bad position. Because the truth is, especially with the Ravens, I don't trust their defense. I just don't. As for the Saints defense, we're supposed to be good. It's good up front, but it's a little suspect in the defensive backfield. So I have concerns about both of these teams' defenses, and I have concerns about their injuries. So I think this is going to be a close one. I think the key, especially though, for the Ravens, they have to stop Alvin Kamara. They cannot let him have a big game because if he does, that's not great for them. But also on the Saints end, they need to stop the run of the Ravens and force them to pass. So if I had to make a pick, tough to make a pick here. I'm not entirely sure, but I would say it's a toss-up right now. I could see either of these teams winning, if you want me to be completely honest with you. I think this is going to be a close game. I might actually go New Orleans because they're home.
Yeah. You think they could tie? You think the tie is a possibility?
I mean, listen, no doubt the best player on the field tonight is Lamar Jackson. He has the most ability out of anyone. But I think it depends a lot about how the Saints defensively go up against him. We've seen them shut down like big-time quarterbacks before. That's not something that they struggle with, especially
a la Tom Brady.
Yeah, a la Tom Brady. They can game plan for these games well, and they play pretty well at home. So I don't know. I might go Saints.
Yeah, that's definitely a viable pick, I would think.